What's up, everybody? Wait, let's keep this on. So quiet. I'll turn it down even. Oh, there we go. Hello. Thank you all for being here. My water bottle is in frame. I'm a mess. Today I'm running the stream solo. My door is open. All these little things that I usually don't have to deal with. I'm back. Thank you all for being here, for watching, for hanging out. You'll notice things are a little bit different today. As I mentioned, stream is just me. Jason was busy, Jared was busy, but we wanted to get a stream in for all of you. So a little bit of patience would mean the world to me as I put it in my post on Facebook, as I fumble my way through this solo live stream. But with that said, there will still be tons of content and community and growing together and everything that we are about here at Wedding Film School. We have a bunch of films for you today, but we are still taking submissions. We, to my knowledge, forgot to send out our email asking for submissions, so we only have a handful right now. We would absolutely take more if you want to show off your latest film, if you want to get some critique from the audience, from the community here at Wedding Film School and in comments. And yeah, otherwise, that's kind of the bulk of the stuff we go over in advance. The link to submit is in the comments or in the chat, in the live chat. It's posted at the top. If there's ever anything off, guys, just say something in comments or in chat or whatever. If you can't hear something or levels are weird, I'm monitoring here. But again, I've got a lot going on. A couple of things before we dive in. I want to talk about how we do things here. Wow, why am I so dark? Should I try and remedy this? I feel so dark. I'm sorry, I'm so close. Is that better? I think I bumped things up. Alright, well, this will just have to do. Anyway, couple things. One, it would mean the world if you liked this. You're all just sitting here, you're sitting in chat, you're sitting in the stream. Hit the like button, help us out. Let YouTube know you like this. What's up, Sky? What's up, Jonas? Good to see you. What's up, Wantastic? Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you. The way that we do this, and we've changed it, so if you've been here before, but maybe not for the last couple of weeks, we did make a little bit of a change here. A lot the same, but a little change. So we're going to watch your films that you, the community here, have submitted to us. Normally we have more people involved in this review, but today it'll be just me. But in chats, I want to hear from you as well. If you have things to share, things you liked about a film, things you think they could have done better, things that bugged you, whatever. But we're going to watch your film, and we're going to talk about what we liked, what we think you excelled at, what we think you as the filmmaker, really have a gift for, what you should lean into. And then we're going to talk about the flip side, the things, the areas where we think that you could improve, things that we think maybe, I would have maybe done differently, or things that are basically, in looking at your film and in looking at your next film, where are you going to have the biggest impact if you were to make a change, right? So the nice thing about that, whether you're brand new, it's your first film, or you've been in the industry for 10, 15 years, everybody can always be improving and growing. And so we kind of meet you where you are, and we want to help you where you are. So, we're not giving you a score. We're not saying this is a 7 out of 10, this is a 9 out of 10. We're saying, here's what we loved. Here's what we think could have been done better. Go out and make an even better film next time. So, Jason, what's up? Your film is in queue, and I did get your email, so we are good to go. I tested it. We're good there. And then the big change, guys, one sec. I'm going to do so much more talking than usual today. The big change that we made a couple weeks ago is that if you are not a member, a paid member of the YouTube membership program, then we're going to review about 2 minutes or so of your film. Still going to share the same amount of feedback. Just trying to get through as many films as possible. But if you are a member, then it will be the normal, which is we don't always watch the whole film. Usually we cap it around 5 minutes. We might skip around to kind of see the ending, stuff like that. But yeah, you're basically getting more of your film reviewed if you are a member. And so if you want to become a member, you can hit the join button, which is down there next to subscribe. You should already be subscribed, of course. It starts at just $5 a month, and it helps this channel. It's really the only paid thing from you guys, the community. Everything else, when we get paid, it's through ads and, companies that pay us. We don't charge a thing for what we give to you. That is about the only way that you can support us, and we always appreciate that. So one more change I'm going to make, because things, it's weird. My streamer, I look great. I look like the right color that I want. And then on here, I look blue on my stream. So I'm just going to change this real quick. I'm so sorry, everybody. You can see a nice view of me. Very close to my lens. I had a crazy weekend. I shot two double header Indian weddings. This looks off too. I'm going back, people. So I shot two double header Indian weddings. Or sorry, two back-to-back 2-day Indian weddings. It was wild. It was like, I think I calculated, 34. It was like 40-ish hours of shooting in a 3-day span. And I also didn't cover all of it. So crazy. I try to avoid double headers as much as I can. And unfortunately, I did not. But I'm here. I'm alive. I'm good to go. So let's go ahead and jump into our first film. And this is coming from A New Odyssey is the company name. First name is Harry and Matike? I don't know. Anyway, let me pull this up and let's see what they said. 5-minute highlight film, ended up at 6 minutes. And a copy of their speeches and vows. This was shot on the Panasonic S1H, the S5, and the Fuji X-T4, and not a whole lot more information other than that. Ooh, I need to bring this up so I can actually watch it on my screen here. And for some reason, these keep like starting halfway through. So hold on one second here. All right, we should be good to go. Except I need to make one more change because I'm in the wrong screen. And here we go, guys.
I have published a combined total of approximately 1.5 million words about love. So you can imagine I felt a lot of pressure to make these words my best words ever.
There are so many reasons why I love you. I love you for the unconditional love, kindness, and care you've shown me through our wonderful 2 years together.
The first conversation I had with my parents when my brother was born is I sat them down and I said, Mommy, Daddy, when is that baby going back? What is this baby doing in my house? I thought he was going to replace me, but my parents explained to me, you now have a new baby brother to love and cherish for the rest of your life.
I love you for the way you give completely and unselfishly from your heart. I love you for how you've loved and fully accepted my family as your own. I love you for the patience you show me, like when I have a very important story to tell you at 3 a.m. on a random Tuesday that cannot wait until the next day. You'll fight sleep enough and humor me and listen. Oh my God. Oh my God. You look so good.
Anyone can use words to say that they love someone. That's not hard. But you put your love to work in ways big and small. So yes, I do vow to love you, but perhaps more importantly, I vow to show my love to you. I vowed to go to any lengths to make you smile. On one of our first real dates, we went to a bar, and we shared a fruity pink drink. After the pandemic hit, you spent months talking about how we'd go back there and have that drink again. But then the restaurant closed, so we spent more months poorly trying to recreate it in my house and failing. So surprise, I actually tracked down a bartender who worked at that restaurant, and I messaged him to tell him that I was desperate and to ask if he could give me the recipe for that drink so I could have it waiting for you on our wedding day. Because I knew it would make you smile. He didn't respond to me.
I promise to be a husband and partner in life who will show you unconditional love and care in good times and not so good. And I promise that the only tears I'll bring to your eyes will be that of unbridled joy and happiness. And if our love is to last 7 lifetimes, and I believe it will, there's no doubt in my heart that I will choose to spend every one of them with you. I love you.
I have spent most of my adult life grappling with the feeling that I was missing something. And now I know that something was you. While I continue to wonder what took you so long to find me, that was annoying, I am comforted by the belief that this is just the first of our many lifetimes together. Because if not even the practice of a million words could prepare me to fully explain how I feel about you, surely the short time we spend on this earth will never be enough for me to show it.
When you experience the moments
We're
of
going to jump
bitterness,
around.
do you
I want to
promise
see
to
the
do so?
ending.
Yeah, this is the good part for her. This was the easy part. But I realize now that never got.
Not only am I excited to have another sibling to steal all my clothes from, I am also so excited to welcome you into our family. Thank you for making my sister so happy, and I love you both.
If you could please join me in wishing this wonderful couple a life together of coming together, of growing together, standing side by side for many new adventures to come, and
All right,
finding
all right.
fulfillment in what aligns them both.
Let's talk about it. All right, so first off, guys, again, I am solo today, so I want to hear from you in comments as well, what you thought they did well, what you thought they could have improved on, etc., etc., but I will share my thoughts. Okay, things I loved about this. I really, really liked the intro. I think you hooked me with some audio. Wait, I can play. Let's do this. Ready? Guys, we're going real advanced here. Oh. There we go. You can watch it. Okay, I think you hooked me with some audio from the bride. I think it was part of her vows, if I remember correctly. And then you went into this dancing footage and this like kind of hype and whatever. I really like the use of the title right here. It just worked well for me. There are some changes I would have made about that. But all that to say, I think it was like the right starting. It had energy, which I feel like this couple had. It seemed like obviously them, their family, their guests. It was just, an energetic, a fun day. I think you captured the couple pretty well in that regard. So that's another thing I loved. I think this is very representational of the couple. Just seemed to do like a really good job of capturing who they are and representing them. You had some really good use of audio throughout. I feel like this is one of those films that you look at and you're like, wow, man, like they just had so much to work with, which is awesome. Obviously, we as filmmakers love that. So good job working that in and working in, stuff from their vows, stuff from the toasts. Again, I think you had a lot to probably sort through, which is, there are pros and cons, right? It's more work, but you do have a lot. And I think you wove together a good story with that. And the audio was pretty clean. Like, I think you did a good job capturing it too, various sources and whatnot. Things that I think you could have improved on, areas where I would have loved to have seen something done differently or something like that. I mentioned the intro, and while I like the energy of it and kind of what it, how it felt, I think the shot selection was a little bit lacking in that intro, and I'm going to go back to it. So you start on this shot of palm trees. You know, I think I'm all for starting on an establishing shot if you want. I think you could find a better one, though. I personally usually like to start on shots of the couple, or maybe an establishing. Kind of depends. Or the drone shot, right? Nothing wrong with that, although people will, for whatever reason, give you shit about it. But I think this could have been a better first shot. Your very first shot, that's the first thing that they're going to see. It's not a bad shot by any means. I just think you had better shots. And then we go into this. And, you know, so this is kind of a dual, something I think you could have done better. I do think this is your best shot of the ceremony. I think that you are establishing who's speaking, because we're hearing her vows or whatever she's reading right now, which are good. But this is not a great shot, in my opinion. It looks possibly slightly out of focus. And I could be wrong on that, but to me, her face looks a little out of focus. But also, this is your centered up shot, and it's not centered. She is middle of the frame, if not slightly left of the halfway mark. And he is obviously about 25% on the left side of the frame. This should be centered. So that was one of my gripes with this. One of the things that's such an easy fix, just turn that camera. So there was that. I wrote down audio levels, and I don't know. I usually don't comment on audio. Usually Jay does. We have a totally different setup, because I'm usually getting it through a Zoom feed, and it's all, you know, harder. I know this is on YouTube, so like, who knows? I don't have control of my audio, which is so, you know, weird. But in the way this setup works, I have to set my audio in advance, so I might have just had it too loud for me in my headphones. But it seemed like some of the audio that you're using, not the music, but the, you know, speeches and whatnot, were pretty loud to me. And then also, I do think there's some competition with the music. I don't know if you were switching back and forth between instrumental and vocal. I think we all know that track, right? We've heard it in tons of weddings, and I don't think there's anything wrong with continuing to use it. But I do think you should consider switching back and forth between instrumental. There were times where there was, audio from the day trying to fight and to win over some audio from the music and some lyrics from the music, which can be done. I don't think it's automatically a bad thing, but you just want to make sure the levels are appropriate then. Other than that, the only other thing I would say is I wrote down there's a few shots that look grainy. I don't know if they were underexposed. You brought them up quite a bit or something. But, yeah, I don't know. Not a whole lot to not love about this. I know we watched more than 2 minutes. I think we probably watched like 3 to 4. But I think this is a super solid film. I think that, obviously, like I said, I think this really captured the couple. I'm sure that they loved it. I have no doubt about that. I think there are a couple small tweaks that you could do that would make it even better. The last thing I wanted to say, your ceremony coverage, I mentioned this straight on shot. Sorry, I should have just kept this rolling. I mentioned this straight on shot. I think that could be worked, but I think all of these, right? Even this shot, again, this looks slightly out of focus or not focused where you want, which would be his face. I also think that this should be a tighter shot. Like, I don't really love this. I think you can see my mouse. This tree with, these cheap LEDs framing it. And then you have the other side, which I will find. It's also it's too far for me, personally. Too wide. The other side, you're on a gimbal, I believe. It's similar to this. There's like the back of a groomsman's head. Where is it? Come on. Right here. Oh, right here? Right there. You're moving around. This one is in focus, so that's great. But again, the framing, I think you want something tighter here. That's my personal opinion. Not a mistake, not wrong. But opinion related, I would say you want something tighter. and probably lockdown, honestly. Cool. Well, that's all I got for that one. Thank you so much for submitting, first of all. We appreciate that. Again, that was from A New Odyssey. So, yeah, as I get this next one queued up, I want to hear from all of you. One of the films that we have coming out that I want to hear about your thoughts is on a new slider, right? This company reached out, or maybe we reached out to them, I don't know. And we said, oh, this looks interesting. It's a small little slider, and we'll be dropping that video soon. But I want to know if you are still using a slider at weddings, because that was one of the things that we kind of struggled with this video. And really, it's what we talk about right from the get-go on the video of saying, like, we don't even know, once upon a time, sliders were the thing, right? Are people still using them? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But here's a slider that's of interest to us, and here's what we liked and what we didn't like. So I personally do use a slider on occasion. I feel like I get a couple shots at the reception, and that's probably it. Maybe the ceremony setup. And when I say reception, I mean reception details. So not really too much, but I still do bring it. Man, I gotta get a smaller one though. Mine is still like 2 feet, and it's too big, and I don't need it like that. So I'd love to hear what you guys are doing with sliders. Let me see. Going around. How's the stumble? Love it. So far, the stumble was in the beginning. You weren't here, so it was me chaotically moving between frames and audio levels and changing the music and getting everything queued up. But you know what? We're doing it. It's all right. Forever Films Weddings. Ending is banging. Ultra clean audio. Nice. I gave up on sliders a long time ago. Yeah, travel light and fast. That's kind of what I'm like, what I struggle with, I would say. I'm always paring down my gear, so I'm all about that. But I also just really love, I throw a 70-200 on a slider in the reception room and get a table that's, 100 feet away. It just looks so nice. It's really hard for me to give up that shot. And so I think what I'm looking to do is I've seen those sliders. So I use a Rhino slider. Some of you are probably familiar with that brand. There's tons of brands out there, of course. But mine is old. It's probably almost 10 years old or something. And I love it. I love it to death. But I want that same slider, but smaller. I want one of those 8-inch sliders or whatever, because it's enough movement. That's all you need. So yeah, we'll see what I do. Grant Fitzgerald Films, what's up? Borrowed all my equipment for my first wedding, and he had a slider. I didn't know how to use it too well, but I also showed up an hour before anyone was at the venue, and I was so nervous. Honestly, that's probably the way to do it. Show up early. Borrow gear too if you can. Why not? But yeah, showing up early, I imagine he figured it out. Not that complicated. Once you know how to lock and unlock things, whatever. Put 2 100-watt lights in the case in place of the slider. Yeah, my slider just is on its own, kind of. I don't know. It's not really taking. Obviously it takes up hands, right? I still have to move it in and out, or have somebody move it in and out and whatnot. But of my car and the reception. But I got my lights too. But yeah, I just got a travel lighter. All right, let's go on to our next film, and this one is coming from a member here. Which is from Alex Jackson, Happy Pears wedding videography, I think. Yes. All right. And Alex says, historically, my films have been one-note music video style videos with one song. Trying to evolve my style to have more story. Edited this twice. The first was without any voiceover. I think having the vows throughout really helped me make it more special. My last video is very jumpy from scene to scene. It was reviewed when Ray Roman was on the show. Shout out to Ray. And I've tried to be more scene setting rather than just jump from moment to moment. Hope that you like it. Let me grab it here. Let me put it back to the beginning because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks that I want to start halfway through a film always. I don't get it. And then I'll go back here. We need Jay to cover. I need Jay here to cover while I stream and switch. LaRev, you're doing great. Thank you so much. Means the world. We're getting films reviewed, right? That's what counts. That's what matters. All right. Well, without further ado, again, this is from Alex Jackson, Happy Pears Media. Not sure if he's in chat, but he has definitely submitted before. We've definitely reviewed his films, and excited to see this one. And here we go. This is Blakely and Mike's intimate wedding in Tuscany.
Most people here might already know, especially after this weekend. The first words you ever spoke to me were, "Hey, new girl, you want a shot?" And of course, I learned in that very moment that you were never going to remember anybody's name. I guess you could also say you learned something about me, because I said no. Most importantly, though, I think it's fitting that you called me new girl, because that is exactly what I became when I met you. A new girl and a new woman. I now laugh more and laugh harder than I ever have before. Your zest for life is contagious, and I love being silly with you. I finally feel more comfortable and confident meeting new people than I ever thought I could be. I'm constantly inspired by your ability to make yourself completely at home with every new person you meet. I've even slowly, very slowly I'll admit, realized it's okay to not be perfect as long as you're always trying to be better. I take pride in knowing I'm marrying someone who is so smart because he's so willing to ask questions. Because of you, I appreciate how important it is to have fun every day, and maybe to even occasionally take a day off of work. Better than anything else, I became a mother. And looking at Bradley is a daily reminder that the most beautiful blessings truly are born of love. I promise to be your ride or die, the Bonnie to your Clyde, the orange peeling your old fashioned, the piece that makes you feel complete. Something I left out of the story before is that after I said no, initially to your shot, I came back to take that shot with you, which I'll now do forevermore. For me, it will always be you.
I remember our first date, which you didn't even really think was a date. I bought you the t-shirt from Mimi. You threw it in the middle of 2nd Avenue and started stepping on it. I said, oh boy, she's going to be a fun ride. Since that day, I've been so lucky to have you by my side. You really are the one who keeps everything running smoothly in our lives, despite all the crazy things I throw at you on a daily basis. If it wasn't for you, our baby would never leave the house in clothes other than pajamas, and she would have continuous bedhead. Look at how amazing this wedding has turned out, and it's all because of you. We have been through so much together throughout these years. If Bradley could only understand how great of a mother she truly has, she would know that you're one in a million. I couldn't imagine doing this life with anyone else. I'm so grateful and blessed to have you. You inspire me to be a better man every day for you and my daughter by the way you conduct your life, your strong values, work ethic, and unmatched loyalty towards family and friends. To always listen to your feelings and to take them into consideration. But above all, I promise to always love you the most and a little bit more. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you, raise a little girl, and share this beautiful life with you.
It is now my privilege and my honor to announce you as husband and wife. Mike, you may kiss the bride.
the end. All right. Many thanks, Alex, for submitting. Let's talk about the film, guys. You can sound off in comments too. Things you love, things you think could have been done better. I actually wrote down a lot about this film. First of all, I think it's really good. I'm trying to remember your other films, and look, I could be wrong, to be fair. But I want to say that I think this is one of the favorite films that I've reviewed of yours, that I've seen of yours. And I think you definitely switched up your style a bit, and I think it worked for you. Again, I could be misremembering the other films that I've reviewed of yours. But even without that said, I think this is a really good film. Things that I loved about it. I really, really liked the intro. It's interesting because it was so short, right? That intro section, like, 5 seconds, 10 seconds? It just like set me up. It just had like a couple solid shots. It was probably 5 shots total or something. It was quick. It was upbeat. And it just like, I was just like, yes, I'm ready for this film. Like, this is going to be great. I love it. I think it was, for the most part, really well shot. You had good coverage. You had some really nice lighting and like color on stuff. So yeah, like obviously you're a good shooter, and some interesting shots too. Like one of the first shots, actually here, I'll play it all in the background again. You don't need to see my face. It's boring. Here we go. You had like one of the first shots, you had this reflection. I think it's the very first or second shot here. Just that, like, creative. I don't know. Yeah, just some really, really solid stuff. Obviously, look, you're in Italy in this beautiful place. I don't know, venue. Looks gorgeous. Yeah, really nice use of light and some of this prep stuff. That ceremony shot is beautiful. I wish that mic wasn't there. That's kind of a bummer. But, you know, what can you do, kind of? So yeah, just really, really solid shots, or especially certain shots, just some really, really nice shots in this film. I also think that it had a really nice feel of, like, there are definitely some staged shots of the couple that are a little more posy, like that one. You know, I'm sure you're like, go stand right in the middle, right? She didn't just find herself there and you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to shoot this. But it's the right mix of that and like raw moments, right? And natural feeling. And you also have, getting back to raw moments, there are a couple of raw moments in this film. Man, I'm just going to daisy chain things. I love this. There are a couple of raw moments in this film that I think were just like really cool to incorporate. This shot here, they're walking out of their ceremony. They have their daughter, or her daughter, or maybe both their daughter, I'm not sure, or his daughter, I don't know. I think they actually said, but I can't remember. This right here, where they're like saying hi to the camera with her, and then they pop champagne later. All those kind of felt like these raw, like almost unplanned moments, and they're kind of captured in that way and woven into the film in that way too. And I think that was, it's tough to do because I think a lot of times that can be really jarring and not work. But I think it did work for this. The other thing that I liked about this is I think that, so kind of again, daisy chaining along, the daughter, I really like the incorporation of the daughter in this film. Like, I think, you know, if I'm being honest, my gut reaction, granted, right, you probably talk about this with the couple in advance, but when I'm viewing this, I'm like, oh man, I would like, not that I would cut the daughter out, but like, it took a lot for you to say, I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to lean into the fact that they're holding their daughter up at the ceremony at the front. They're obviously taking care of her throughout the night, dancing with her, playing with her. Like, she is a part of them, absolutely. She's a part of their story, absolutely. And I think sometimes that can get lost in a wedding film. And so I think this was really cool to see how heavily incorporated. Like, even the shot, you had a shot of like a pink bag or like a unicorn bag or tote or something like that. And it's just really cool to really lean into that, to see you do that, because I'm sure that was very important to them. With that said, of course, there are things that every filmmaker can work on. So let's talk about some of those things. One of the things, your drone shots to me, they were moving too fast, I think. And that's a really simple fix. If you shot a little higher frame rate, you could have slowed them down maybe. And if you didn't, I think it's something I see a lot. I always shoot my drone stuff. I don't know about you guys. I shoot my drone stuff at 30 frames per second, and I slow it to 80% always. Every single shot in a drone. I think that it's very easy. It's actually tough to do really slow movements on a drone. I don't know if some drones or all drones, if you can control like the dampening of the sticks, right? Or how responsive they are. Maybe you can. I know you can go into like, what is it, tripod mode or cinematic mode to help do that. But it can be tough. And so, yeah, I think that's one thing in this film where it just stood out right away. I was like, we have these kind of like, especially we're at this, I'm going to go back to the beginning so that we can see. We have this like beautiful villa in this like vineyard or whatever, and it's like slow. Oh, we're gentle. We're looking at this beautiful space. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, setting down a glass. Oh, so serene and gentle, and the wind is blowing. And then eventually you'll see a drone shot, and it just felt like it was moving really fast to me. Compared to other films around it, or other shots around it. Like this. Yeah, right there. Okay. I think that while they had some amazing vows, and they were very well spoken, and they were very personal, and very specific and personal to this couple, like they took time to write these vows. With that said, I think there's too much vows in this. I think overall, this gets back to an overall umbrella point I would make, is that I think this film, it was about 5 minutes, 4:55. Man, if this could have been like 4, maybe even a little shorter, if you could have gotten away with that. Again, granted, who knows what they booked. Sometimes you have to do it, right? I think if you cut out a little bit of the vows, I think they I just don't think they helped your edit after a certain point. There was a little too much of them for me, personally, in my opinion. You were cutting back to the couple talking a lot. And I think it just made the film a little too long. It was all great stuff, so I don't know. I'm not telling you what I wouldn't have cut out, but I think something, if you could tighten those up a little bit, would have helped the film. You have one shot at the ceremony that I would have avoided. If I don't know, like you have to put it in there. I get it sometimes, but that straight on shot right there doesn't match the color or exposure of your other shots. I know you're shooting into the sun, into the background there. That's going to probably blow out, but even the coloring, it looked a lot cooler. Yeah. And the one other thing that I would say before I get to some comments and see if people agree, disagree, whatever, is the transition to the second song didn't work for me. Musically, it was fine, whatever. It was maybe a little abrupt, but not that big of a deal. I think it was your choice on what to transition on visually, because you went from they're at the ceremony, whatever, but we did not see the kiss. We saw that later. To just, it was just like this nice, slower, kind of upbeat, but the right feel song, to this like upbeat, and just went straight to the dance floor. I think you needed to use something visually to port us over there. Most people use, myself included, very often, the first kiss. There needs to be that build up. Like, we're just like, there's a build up to what? And it was just like a person dancing on the dance floor all of a sudden. And I think you missed that transition visually a little bit. I think I would have redone that a little. Yeah. I think those are all my thoughts. That's all I've got written down. So let's hop into comments here while we keep this running. Buddy G, I hate when there's a mic stand blocking her face. Yeah, that mic in the way is rough. Sucks. Really not the videographer's fault. Yeah, I would agree. I think I brought that up again. It's, I don't know. It's kind of like, what can you do a little bit? But it gave you good audio, right? So pros and cons. Some cuts seem a bit too fast or something. I was actually going to write that down too. It didn't always match the song, I felt like. Like, I feel like letting things breathe a little bit more would have worked, at least at points, would have worked well in places for this film. It wasn't enough for me to write it down and talk about it. But yeah. Really love coming back to the person speaking, maybe a little too often. Yeah, I think I kind of said something along those lines. Greetings from Italy. What's up, Franco? This wedding was in Italy, so I hope it feels right at home for you. Glad you had a light up. Looks good. Nice dance sequence. Yes. 87 Smith. What's up, Kyle? Hello, my friends. Joining you live from my kitchen while I enjoy a delicious BLT with feta cheese. Should we live stream that, Kyle? You want to, like, should we get you in on this? We can review your sandwich. Serious eye candy in this film from Larev. Absolutely agree. Yeah, there's some really, really good shots in this. This film makes me rethink doing more handheld, especially during portraits where I'm solely on a gimbal. Yeah, I would encourage you to look, there's no, it's not, this is right, this is wrong. We're going back. I don't know what's going to play. We're going back. Oh no! I pulled up Retro Sunset 4K free download. How do I go back? All right, please. This is the stumble, everybody. We're here. We made it. And we are, you can just look at my face. What comment was I on? Yeah, handheld. Yeah, look, there's no right or wrong, right? It's whatever works for you, for your style, for your clients. If they're happy, that's all that matters. If you're producing work that you love and you feel creatively fulfilled, that is all that matters. Literally anything I say, as far as things you could work on, do not matter. If you like what you're making, your clients like what you're making money that you feel is sufficient, and you're progressing as an artist in your career and whatever. But yeah, I think a lot of people, I don't know, Forever Films, I don't know how far you are in your career, but I see a lot of people who are too dependent on a gimbal. And I think that it ultimately stunts you as a filmmaker, in my opinion, personally. So exploring other options is always a good, is never a bad thing. With that said, definitely practice before you get into it, because especially with handheld, but really with anything, it's very easy to be like, I'm going to try this. And trying it at a real wedding, at a paid gig is, I don't want to say it's risky, but, there's more on the line than if you were just trying it with a couple friends, or like, find a couple, if you have some couple friends, be like, hey, can we go out for 30 minutes? I just want to like make a little video of you two, or get some shots of you to practice this or whatever. So, Larev, I would have played with the editing of the vows a bit more. No reason. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it was just like, it's weird because it was all really good from my memory at least. But yeah, I think just like tightening that up. I think it's our job to edit it and take the most impactful words. I agree. I would also use that mic stand angle than the overblown and slightly cooler angle. Because that mic stand angle, despite the mic stand, looks really, really good. Okay, so we are moving on to another film. You guys can still submit if you want. We'll probably be able to get to a few more after this. So this is coming from another member, a brand new member, Jason Darnell. Thank you so much for becoming a member, guys. If you want to be a member and support this channel, you can hit the little join button down below. It's, I think, I said this before, and I think it's correct. I think it's the only thing where you can give us money. It's the only place, nothing's behind a paywall for us. I guess unless you want to hire us for, like, coaching or mentorship. But all our content is out there for free. We're not trying to sell you anything. The only thing is that if you want a little bit more of your film reviewed, you can consider becoming a member, which helps this channel and gets you some bonuses like more of your film reviewed, a private Facebook group, things like that. Starts at just $5 a month. Yeah, let's see here. Thank you to all our members in chat. We appreciate you very much. Did I copy this? We will find out. All right. So this is coming from Jason Darnell Studios. Yes, I got it. Perfect. Oh, okay. And he says, this is my 10th wedding film. No. Pack it up, guys. I screwed up. I'm sorry. I can't be live. Because usually we'd record. I would just cut that, right? Not in our live streams. I'm talking about videos. I recorded a video yesterday for a new piece of gear that is coming out shortly. And I can't say anything else until the launch date, which is in, I think, 5 days or something like that. So look for a video there. It took me many, many takes, and it was very hot in my studio, unfortunately. Anyway, back to this. We met a wedding planner on our 4th wedding that we ever filmed, which we reviewed. Awesome. He recommended us for this job. Very hectic and busy day, but turned out well. Client wanted the film extended past the 7-minute mark and wanted more of the letter reading. I would have liked to condense the video, but overall, feel like it still flows okay. Some issue with audio. All right, so we'll get to that. So we will watch, again, Jason Darnell is a member. So for our members, for our non-members, we cap it around 2 minutes, although I've done a bad job of that today. For our members, we cap it around 5 minutes, and we'll see if I do a good job or not. All right, so without further ado, this is Sandra and Dave. And there's no audio because I didn't start it. My bad. I was going to comment. I was like, you need audio way before this. And now here's the real version of Sandra and Dave.
After 8 crazy months of planning, I cannot believe the day is finally here. I'm overwhelmed with emotions, but I only care and hope that the start of your special day is beyond perfect. Do you remember that night at the beginning of our love story when I stood in the doorway of your condo and said that you would be my wife and mother of my children? Well, here we are now with a beautiful baby boy of our own and getting ready to get married. Even then, I knew you were going to be the one for me. Christian was a testament to the love that we share. Watching you become a mother has been the most incredible experience. Your love and devotion towards our son reflects the kind, caring, and loving person you are. I am so proud of the family we have begun to build together, and I'm excited for all the adventures that await us. Today, I'm making a promise to you, my soon-to-be wife and mother of our children. I promise to love you, cherish you, and be your partner through thick and thin. I promise to be the best husband and father I can be, always listen to you, support you, and be there for you no matter what. So my love, take a deep breath, relax, and I know I will be waiting for you at the altar. You are the love of my life, and I cannot wait to make you my wife. And with all my heart, your honey, David.
Popping in to say I see a couple comments about the audio being low. I do think that the audio is fighting with the music, but if the overall mix is low, I've just turned it up. So apologies if that was on me.
When I think back at the last 6 years that we've been together, it is crazy to see all the things we've gone through. You have literally been with me during the worst time in my life.
I think you're right.
Me losing my brother.
But I turned it up a little just in case.
The happiest time in my life was having our son. And there's absolutely no one else that would choose to go through life. Growing up, I always dreamed about a man like you. All the hard work you do, I know you do it for
Have them read the letter they wrote.
Take matters into your own hands.
Official petition, let's start it.
And I think I know you. You somehow still manage to surprise. The day is finally here. You're about to be the luckiest man in the world. I can't wait to see how handsome you look standing at the altar waiting for me. And I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together.
All right, I want to see the kind of the second half too, so I'm going to skip a little bit ahead at the kiss. Hey, I used this song recently.
Sandra is the type of person who is herself and will love you just as you are. But watch out. With her genuineness comes an in-your-face honesty. She will say it like it is, and she will set you straight. Like when I talk about working out and dieting too much, she just tells me to shut up. But she'll say it with
We're gonna
passion.
skip.
She'll be You're lucky, Dave. She loves
I'm gonna
you
skip
too.
again. I think it's just her talking for a bit. All right, we'll watch the end. We'll watch the end. What an ending. Wow, I timed that perfectly. Go me. All right, perfect. So, this coming from Jason Darnell, a new member. And I don't know if Jason is in chat, but I think there's a lot to like about this film. What? No. There we go. A lot to like about this film, but definitely some things that I would do differently too. First and foremost, I want to say, shout out to a rare, in my opinion, I believe, a rare, seemingly just locked off tripod shooter. I think that there needs to be, I have nothing wrong with a gimbal, I have nothing wrong with handheld. I shoot with a gimbal, I shoot handheld, I shoot some tripod stuff, but these are just solid shots, and it is allowing Jason, in my opinion, to focus on his framing, his composition, his exposure, and his color, and he is nailing it in a lot of these shots while still keeping it interesting. And I think there are a lot of filmmakers, especially on the newer side, who would really benefit from, I thought my mic was off, really benefit from doing films like this for a little while, where they're only on a tripod, they are only focusing on their framing and not worrying about moving and not ruining their shots with movement. So yeah, I really liked that with this. Okay, other things I liked. Okay, so this is going to be a double one here. Actually, I'll put it at the end because I'll use it transition. I really liked your couple shots. You had that one on the stairs that I actually just said I really liked. I just think like the framing is just like really nice, really pretty. You had these shots like here on the rooftop. Yeah, just like again, it doesn't take that much to just have this really beautiful framing. So I like that. I like that you're on a tripod. I think you handled a white suit really well. It is not easy. I do not like when I have a groom in a white suit. It can be cool. It can, be striking and stand out, but it's just a lot to deal with the lighting and overexposure. We already have the white dress, so in theory it should be fine. But something with me is like, if you have that black suit, it just kind of like, I don't know. It just seems easier to me than a white suit. Or I guess, more parts of the day. Even here, you have to worry about blowing that out, right? Okay. So good job on that. And overall, just like a really solid film, which is ultimately what we are all after. With that said, let's transition into things I would have changed. And I'll start with one that I want to give you a little bit of props for, but use it as that transition. I really like when people push themselves creatively and try new things. I don't know, I guess if you've tried this before, so I don't know if it's brand new to you, but I'm talking about your very first shot with the film overlay. I think the film overlay was a little too strong, first of all, for that shot. But again, I want to give you props for trying new things and trying things out of the box and whatever. But I also think that using film overlays should serve a purpose, and that didn't feel like it served a purpose. It felt like it was just there because. And I think sometimes you can do that, right? Like it's a fine line between saying like, well, I don't know, I think this looks cool, I'm gonna do it. But it just felt a little forced or like out of place, or again, like I said, just didn't really serve a purpose for me. Moving into some other things. Okay. I think a lot, and people were saying this in comments, I know I paused, the audio, especially from the bride. Well, audio throughout was really your biggest thing. If I were to say, like, fix this one thing with a magic wand and your film will be 10 times better, it's your audio. Your audio on the bride's letter that she's reading, it sounds like it's on camera. And it's low, and it's a little noisy or echoey, and it's not just like, it's just not super clean. And it's fighting with the audio or with the music track and the lyrics. So there's a lot I didn't hear, honestly, of her letter reading. So if you're going to include audio, I think it has to be captured from an intentional source. I think that was on camera. And then same thing with the reception. You had some issues with that audio. I'm talking about the bridesmaid that was giving a speech, or maybe there were multiple. Again, sounded like on camera. Didn't sound like you had it from the source. And I think it's a tough call, because if something went wrong, it happens. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, maybe you still include it. But then it's like, it's really tough to include it if it's just not good audio. And I think that brings down the quality of your film overall. So yeah. Another thing that I would say, and I think kind of the last thing, is let's talk about editing and cutting at the right times, or I don't know, whatever. This is my opinion, of course. I think there were a couple misses. There was one, it's like the build up, the beat drop, it goes into some guy going, whoa, or something like that. I am not a singer. Jay is the musical one. But it's, you transition to a shot of them and you faded to it. You did a fade to black. I'm seeing if I can find it here. I can't. But it was the high point in the first song, and it missed because you were fading to black when it hit. It was like boom, and you were in black fading out of it. I think you need to be more aware of that, of using, because you missed that beat. You missed that build up. It didn't have the payoff because of that. You could have removed that fade to black or started earlier, and then boom, you're on the couple with that big hit. The shot selection was fine, with a couple it just didn't hit because it didn't line up right. And then similar idea, you cut to this second song, and I love that song. I used it on a film at the end of last year. And I think it works for this edit, but you're cutting to the beat, which I like. I think that works really well. Quick, don't go to 4K stream, whatever. You cut to the beat. I think it works really well, and I like that. But you're only cutting, you're like skipping one of those beat hits every time. So if it's like, I think there's 6 beats, and you're only making like 4 or 5 cuts. And it seems to be a different one that you're skipping sometimes too. So like, I think that needs to be worked out and a little more intentional. I really like the idea behind it. I think it could have been executed a little bit better. All that to say, really, really solid film. I really liked it. I think it was quite good. I think there were some really solid shots. I love that you were just on a tripod seemingly, and just like maybe a little non-tripod stuff, but just a lot of lockdown, well thought out shots. So very, very good job. Let's go to the chat. And you might be hearing my dog, who is currently asleep on the ground next to me and apparently dreaming and barking in her sleep. All right. Ooh, we got a lot of comments here. So yeah, we were talking about the film mix. So yeah, it was low, especially on the bride's letter. I think that's what we were talking about. But I did turn it up a little bit for you guys. Actually gonna turn it down just in case the next one is loud again. Shots are spot on. I agree. More sound design would set this apart. Yeah, it definitely could have been a little more done there. Really just the sound, even the basics, I think could have really helped. Still have a couple that won't read the letter they wrote, but the one the other person wrote kills me. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'll explain. I'll be like, yeah, I want you to keep a copy of your letter, or you can keep the letter and we can exchange it later. But that way, you're reading what you wrote, so it's not him saying like, I couldn't wait to meet a man like you or something like that, where it just feels off considering that we see a man and a woman in that film. And so, I don't know. I'm always kind of just like playing it off like that. I'm like, yeah, it just wouldn't make sense. So just keep it like, I don't know. Sometimes you got to approach something as the professional. Like, it's not, would you consider doing this? It's just like, yeah, this is how it's done because this is the right way. Let's go. Love that. Camera audio again. Yes, I think so. Yeah, a little investment into audio kit is going to jump your work up a peg or two. I would agree. Wouldn't include the bridesmaid toasts. Yeah, that's a tough call because it's not great audio. Great color. Yes, fast jump cuts didn't match the beat of the reception. It missed like one always, which was a little odd. Sorry, just reading through some of these. Rather include, I think this is no audio. Yeah, no audio than bad audio. Cool. Yeah, I think a lot of agreement on some of the stuff I said. So, yeah, glad. I hope that was helpful for you, Jason. Thank you so much for submitting and becoming a member. We appreciate that for sure. And I hope that you found that helpful. I think that is a really good film. All right, let's see if we have some more. Guys, I will give you a few minutes if you want to submit any more films. We do have some more coming in. Let's go with this one. I should probably have screened this a little bit. I think Jay usually screens them. I don't. I just get to watch them. It's awesome. Also, apologies. I feel like I look very, very shiny, and that's because it is incredibly hot in my studio because I refuse to turn on my air conditioning, even though it's now summer and hot out. I will wait as long as I can. All right, so this next film is coming from Table Salt is the company name, I guess. This is from Sven is his first name. And let's see, what does Sven say? British-Dutch couple from the Netherlands. This wedding was in the Netherlands, and would love to hear your feedback. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and do it then. All right, guys. This is from Table Salt, I think is the company name.
Lotta took 2 days to reply. She was playing it cool. I'll pick you up at the train station. Groningen is pretty small, but still. Our house is packed, by the way. We have some freshers staying, and it's going to be busy. So if you don't mind, you're going to have to stay in my double bed. So guys, we all know how that ended. Cheers to Lotte and Ross.
Dearest Ross, my liefje, we made it through the past 10 years, and more surprisingly, through this year of wedding planning.
True.
When you told me with your British accent on the beach in Vietnam that you wanted to be a tropical medicine doctor, you had me immediately. Imagining us working together in Africa. Thankfully, that was not the only thing I fell for. And more importantly, some of your most attractive qualities shone through immediately, besides looking like Jude Law.
Thank you, babe. I'll pay you later. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Oh, my God. Lottie, you are truly one of a kind. All at once, independent and strong, honest and hardworking, fair and loyal. Yet you're also sweet, loving, fun and kind. From the moment we first met, we immediately clicked. I distinctly remember our first few conversations on the beach in the train, and then a few weeks later on the beach in Cap Horn. We talked a lot. And I feel so lucky and so inspired that I get to learn and discover life, both from you and with you. But that's far from the whole picture. There's also the fun, warm, playful Lottie. The Lottie who, as I'm drifting off at 11:30 p.m. on a Monday night, comes bounding in, full lights on, jumps on the bed, laptop in hand. Ross, wake up, I've got a plan for the holiday in 2 weeks.
Look, I said it in our
yeah,
video.
I'm only supposed to be doing 2 minutes.
You are just perfect
All right.
for Ross.
I'm cutting forward to see the end. Sorry. My bad, my bad.
Lottie, I completely and totally believe in you, the person you are right now, the person you will grow to be, and the couple will we be together. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for us.
The end. Wow. Okay, so how do I play it again? Well. There we go. I did not write a whole lot down. And the reason I did not write a whole lot down is because I just really loved this film. I was into it. I was drawn in, and I wanted to watch it. And there wasn't a whole lot that set me off and made me, made me want to write something down that you did wrong. There is very little for me to critique here. Again, there might be some stuff that I missed because I think it was just so solid and it just really drew me in. Things I loved about this film: it just felt real and raw and like so well captured of who this couple was. So fun yet elegant, and just felt perfectly them. Some really, really nice shots throughout, and some really creative shots, some abstract shots, which I liked. And I really loved a few, pieces of the edit. There was one part in the second song where we get some really fast, like violin or something, and you kind of gave us some really fast cuts, and yeah, really cool with that. Really nice color throughout. Really just a lot to love about this film. The only thing that did stand out to me is I think it's right here that we're seeing, I think it's the bride's vows, and I think the mix was a little off. I think it was hard to hear her. It might have been earlier in the film, actually, now that I'm seeing. I don't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure it was bride's vows, and I think it was, again, it's kind of the story, so maybe, just like, watching out for that to make sure we can hear everything clearly. Yeah, I honestly don't have a whole lot. Like, my recommendation, my feedback, keep making films like this. Super, super good. I'm sure the couple loved this. You know what I would love, and I think you're a very good editor, obviously a very good shooter as well, but I think you could do some really cool teaser films. If that is not something you do, you have an abundance of awesome shots. You clearly have an understanding of editing and framing and building up hype, and I think a teaser that really just goes above and beyond creatively and abstract, and I think you can make something really, really cool with this or with any other future wedding. So if that's not something you offer to your couples, I think you should definitely consider that, because I think you could do some really awesome stuff. So I don't have anything else to say about that. Let's go on to the comments. Use a fan if you don't want to turn on the AC. I am taking one for the team. Taking one for all of you here live, because the fan will be noisy. So, shocked, didn't know what to think. Very nice. It's real. I like that. Nice laughing shots. It's real. Very engaging. Neat first look. Yeah, I think people agree with me. Really, really awesome film. So great job, Sven. Please keep submitting. I would love to see more of what you do. Oh, Sven, I think you're in chat. It's so fun. Thanks so much for your feedback. Yeah, I do make teaser films also. Wow, it's great to hear that you like it so much. Thanks. Keep doing the good work. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please submit again. I'd love to view some more of your films, or a teaser, or you can submit whatever you want. Especially when we have like Jay here, or me, Jay, and Jared in the rare occasion. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to hear their feedback as well. Yeah, show some love in chat for Sven. Cool. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna do one more film, I believe. Let me just make sure I can pull it up. And I lost my place in our spreadsheet. No, I went past it. All right, so we're gonna do this from Daydream Media, Chris Day. Give me a second while I get this queued up. Man, sorry, Chris, you have to follow this. All right, so let's see. What did Chris say? All right, Chris said, shot on 2 A7S3s. That's all we got. Perfect. Well, without further ado, let's watch this very last film. And I will switch to the right thing. And the audio is on. And this is 4:10. Well, I'm going to try to be strict about 2-ish minutes.
Back in the day, we used to be on the bus and we would rank a little bit of everything. We would sit there and rank everything. He'd be like, man, give me your top 5. It don't matter what it is. Let me get your top 5. We always related everything to sports. He's like, man, you got to have a star. Who you giving the ball to at game time when it's on the line? Who is it? So I can say that my brother definitely found his star today with Kristen. You like that? You like that? I've been working on this.
Shining on the city lights. All this doubt around me, then but look, I got it right. Don't you try to hit me, now you live a petty life. All those nights I laid awake, I pray for better life.
Today I marry my best friend and the love of my life. Thank you for loving me and accepting me for who I am, not judging me, accepting all my flaws, and just being there with everything. Today I vow to you to be there to support you in the good and the bad. I vow to respect you, love you unconditionally. I vow to pray for you each and every day. I vow to communicate and be there along this journey. We're in this together.
I just need you by my side. Yeah, that's until the day I die. Ever since you found me.
You can smile if you want to.
It's you and me, and they can't replicate this unity. No pressure. I can see them watching and they try to do better, but you one in a million, you ain't average. Girl, I promise I'ma have you living lavish. Take a trip, girl, we're about to vanish. 'Cause I'll go
Kristen,
anywhere.
you mean the world to me. The moment we met changed my life. I'm a better person because I'm with you. I know that everything that we've been through, all the time we spent, I know it's to prepare us for this moment right now. I vow to always love you.
Stand for the bride.
Watch the slow fade. Oh, yeah, nailed it. Okay, I'm gonna bring this back. Sorry, I know I said that I would do 2 minutes. I went a little bit over. Okay, so let's talk about this film real quick. I'm probably at my limit for today anyway, but I do want to share my thoughts on this one. So, the very final film today. Let's talk about a couple things. Okay, so a couple things. You have a couple shots that I really like in this. And I also liked a few of the spots where you did kind of these fast cut edits, or fast cuts in the edit. Yeah, I mean, we only watched 2 minutes, so yeah, and like there, a couple of nice shots. You had some nice lighting there, stuff like that. So, but with that said, I think more than anything, I want to focus on the things that I think you could do better, because I think there's a couple small things that you could tweak and make a much better film. Granted, I know we didn't see the whole thing. Let's see if it gets hyped up at the end or something. Okay, first, this color that we're seeing here in the reception speeches, we saw it at the beginning, in this grand entrance, things like that. That color does not work. Your white balance is off. It needs understand your Kelvin temps or your presets or whatever you need. Use a light. Bring a light. That would make such a big difference in this film. And I think it would really help you out. So that is the first thing. And then let's talk about color in general, because there's also like your drone shot. We see it here. This shot isn't as bad, but we're going to still need some work, and we're going to talk about that shot. We see the drone shot right here. That is, to me, in my opinion, super oversaturated. So I think a better understanding of color is going to really propel your work. And light, of course, if you can bring one, would be great. Okay. Let's talk about angles. You're telling a story, and you're covering this speech, right? And there's something called the 180-degree line. And I'm not talking about shutter angle. That's something totally different. I'm talking about the 180-degree line and not crossing it. And the reason you don't cross it is that this throws your viewer out, or throws your viewer off, or takes them out of the world and says, wait, even if they don't consciously think this, subconsciously their brain goes, wait, what? And what it is you can see in this frame right here, first of all, if you are able to track him a little bit more, you know, he's on the left side of the frame looking left. Not the end of the world, but still. But the issue is not in that. It is that your next frame, when we get to it, is here. Now he's on the right side of the frame looking right. So you have crossed the angle of the way that he is looking. If I am filming, for example, it's easier to think about this with two people. So I think about it like he's talking to the bride and groom. So in the first frame, he is, and this might not line up the way you see it, but I'm showing it my way. So he is on the right. He's talking to the bride and groom who are on the left. Now on the next shot, the exact next shot, you're cutting between them, and that's the biggest part of this problem. Because if you put things if you put other shots in between, it makes it a little bit better, maybe. But on the next shot, he is now on the left, talking to the right, bride and groom on the right. You have completely crossed over. You should always keep, you're clearly running two cameras. They should be on the same side of that 180-degree line to keep the reference to who he's talking to the same, direction in relation to each other, if that makes sense. Really easy fix. But it has to be done in your shooting, and you have to be conscious of that. It's the same reason in a ceremony. You don't cross that line in the ceremony, right? You don't go behind the couple normally if you are shooting in front of the couple too. And if you do and you submit your film, I probably point it out. So that's like just a filmmaking basic or like a foundational thing or a staple. Two other things that I would recommend, again, these are all really easy small changes. You have in there the text with the photographer saying, you can smile or something like that when he's getting ready. And I have two issues with that I think I would take that out. I would take that whole shot out. Or take the audio out. I guess I don't mind the shot so much. But one, I think the text looks, I'm going to use the word cheap. Not that text looks expensive versus cheap, but I think that text just feels like a lower tier brand or something, right? I think it's hurting your branding. I don't think it looks good. But two, I don't think that you're representing your couple in the best light when you put that in. I think that our job as wedding filmmakers is to capture what's happening on the day, absolutely. But it's also to present it the best way possible to make our couples, especially the bride, but the groom too, look as good as possible. And I think the photographer implying that he's not happy or you can smile. And I get it's a joke, right? But it doesn't totally come off that way as a viewer. And so I think it just doesn't present him in the perfect light. And I would have taken that audio out for that reason. And the very last thing that I want to say is on the groom's ceremony angle. And I have two issues with this. And I'll go through them quick here. One, this is not a flattering angle. You are shooting up at them. You're on, I don't know, maybe a 35 or something. So it's not like crazy wide. I don't feel they're super distorted. But shooting up their nose, it's just not a good angle of the couple. It's not presenting them in the best light. Second, from what I can tell, you are crouched down 5 feet or less from them. I think that is disruptive. I think it is making the day about you and not about the couple. And this is not only a better shot from the side, locked down on a tripod on a 70-200 or 135 or an 85 or something like that, but it is also our job to not be the center of attention, to not block people's views during the ceremony when we can or when we can avoid it, and to not be distracting. And I think that you down there on the floor shooting up is probably a little distracting, and I would try to avoid that if I could. So a couple reasons for that. That's all I got for this film. We only watched 2 minutes because, sorry, this was the only one I was strict on, and that's because I'm running out of voice. I've talked too long. I'm out of water. But thank you, everybody, for joining. If you have not already, hit the like button on your way out. I would appreciate that. We had some great films. It was fun to hang out with everybody. We will be back next week, probably at full power with myself, Jay, and maybe Jared. Who knows? Question mark. You can start submitting your films now for next week. You can hit the button that's pinned at the top of chat, or the link, sorry. Or you can just head over to weddingfilm.school and click on the live review tab. We'd love to see your films, and we would love to have you become a member. So if you are not a member, we will still absolutely review your film. We'll cap it around 2 minutes. Share our thoughts, and if you are a member, we'll watch more of your film, and you'll get priority and things like that. So you get some other benefits too. We'd appreciate it. We love our members, and we appreciate you supporting this channel. You can hit that join button down below if you want to do that. Otherwise, follow along. We have some really we have been just cranking out content, really Jason, if I'm being honest. And we have some more content that we're working on. We have a couple gear reviews. I know we have some behind the scenes videos again in the works. So yeah, wedding season is starting up for me and for all of us a little more, a little more heavily, I guess. I don't know. So we've got a lot of behind the scenes stuff in the works too. And then some gear review videos coming out, some new pieces of gear that we can't say until the date. And if you have not looked at it, go check out our most recent video about finding music. Jay put his acting chops on to the test for that with a little intro. It's a fun first minute and a half, but there's some really, really good nuggets of info in there too. That's really going to help you. Look, we all struggle with finding music for a film, finding the right song and not taking 5 days to do it. So check it out. The other videos on our channel, do all the YouTube stuff, whatever. You can also look at our podcast, which is available on all streaming platforms and also on our sister channel, The Wedding Film School Show, here on YouTube, if you want the visual aspect of that as well. We just had Kaylin Rome from White and Reverie on. That just dropped 2 days ago. And he's talking about wedding filmmaking and color grading and his LUTs over at gamut.io. Yeah, that's all I got off the top of my head. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for hanging. I'm sorry that I was solo and there were a little hiccups along the way. But we made it through, and I will see you guys next week. See you later.